the new year 6. So today we're going to be looking at our next part of the ancient Greek unit. But before we go any further, just to recap what you need to be doing in this work time. You do need to create a project about the ancient Greeks. Now, we have already looked at the start of the Greek Empire, about the initial democracy, the Olympics, and the Battle of Marathon. Now, with this project, you could make a poster if you want to. You could use PowerPoint to make a little presentation on some PowerPoint slides, or use Prezi, which is an online version of that. You could make a video recording, so you recording yourself giving out the information. That should be no more than 2 minutes if you're doing it that way. Or you could use any other method to get your information across. You could even use 2 or 3 of these different methods if you wish to. Now, this presentation should include the things that we have talked about in class and in distance learning lessons. However, you must have information about the Battle of Marathon, which was from our distant learning lesson here, gods and goddesses, which we are going to be covering today, and the Trojan War, okay, which is our lesson next week. Now, of course, you are more than welcome to add any other information that you find interesting or that you want to research, okay? You can add whatever you wish to as well. But these 3 things at the bottom must be here. And you need to send it to me before 4 p.m. on Monday, the 27th of April. Okay then, so let's look at our ancient Greek sort of religion. So the ancient Greeks were very religious. Now, they believed that their gods and goddesses controlled everything in the world, and that they really must sort of be praised, they must really be respected. Now, the ancient Greek people built huge, beautiful temples and shrines that they could go to worship the gods. They also held different festivals, they would pray, and they would make offerings, so to offer them things, in the hope that they would be granted that good fortune, or they'd be rewarded in some way. Now, you've probably heard of Mount Olympus. Now, the ancient Greeks believed that the 12 most powerful gods lived at the top of a huge mountain called Mount Olympus. However, some very important gods, such as Hades, who was a god of the underworld, did not live there. And Mount Olympus was where the gods held their meetings and where they settled any arguments. So we're going to learn some key facts about some of the main ancient Greek gods and goddesses. Again, you could use some of these into your presentation if you wish to. Okay, the choice is yours. Now, Zeus is probably the most famous and well-known of these, and that is because he's the most powerful of all of the gods that the ancient Greeks believed in. He was a god of the sky and the king of the Mount Olympus. He was married to the queen of gods, and his temper was said to affect the weather. And when he was really angry, he threw thunderbolts. Now, again, you can imagine the ancient Greeks seeing thunder and wondering how that was actually happening. So they used Zeus as a right, well, he's angry, he's sent this storm down, and this is why we have thunder and lightning. Now, did you know Zeus's father was worried that his children would betray him, so he ate them. Zeus's mother tricked his father by giving him a rock to eat, so Zeus was free. Now, there's Poseidon. Poseidon was a god of the sea. He was the most powerful god except for his brother Zeus. He lived in a beautiful palace under the sea, and he caused earthquakes when he was angry. Now, Poseidon delayed the return of Odysseus from the Trojan War by causing his boat to be shipwrecked. Okay, and did you know, as well as his trident that he has here, he rode a chariot that was pulled by seahorses. We have Hades, again another quite well-known one. Hades is a brother of Zeus as well. Now, he was a god of the dead, and he ruled the underworld where people went when they died. Now, ancient Greeks were very afraid of him for obvious reasons, and people were obviously sent to him when they wanted something bad to happen. Doesn't sound like a very a nice character here. So he was also the god of wealth, and he was believed that he was a god of wealth because of the precious metals that were mined from the earth. And wife of Zeus. She was powerful and beautiful, but also very jealous. She was an earth goddess, and she was a goddess of family and marriage, but Greek men didn't find her very pleasant. They didn't really like her. She also tried to kill Zeus's son, Hercules. Did you know that she was on the side of the Greeks in the Trojan War, but Zeus sided with the Trojans? Okay. Ares was a god of war. Now, he was both cruel and a coward, okay, who sort of ran away from things. He was a son of Zeus as well, but Zeus and his mum did not like him very much. He killed the fierce monster and an enemy of the gods. But did you know his throne, so the thing that he sits on, was made out of human skin? Athena was a daughter of Zeus, and she was Zeus's favourite. Now she's a goddess of intelligence, art, and literature. Athena turned Medusa from a human into a monster. And did you know the city of Athens is named after her? Apollo is the son of Zeus and the twin brother of Artemis. Apollo was a sun god, and he was responsible for the movement of the sun across the sky. And he pulled this sun with a chariot pulled by golden horses. He was also the god of archery, prophecy, and music. And did you know he also had healing powers? Aphrodite. She was a goddess of love, beauty, and the protector of sailors. She was loved by many, many people. Now, her skin was whiter than ivory, her hair as golden as the setting sun, and her eyes as blue as the summer sky. Next is Hermes. Hermes was Zeus's youngest son. He was very fast on his feet, and he was very clever. So Zeus decided to make him a messenger, and he always knew everything that was going on in the mythical world. Now, the other gods trusted him, and he was very clever and loyal. He was also a very, very good negotiator. And many ancient Greeks believed that he was responsible for the invention of the alphabet, for boxing, and for gymnastics. Artemis, she's the daughter of Zeus and the twin sister of Apollo. Now, she was a moon goddess responsible for the movement of the moon across the sky at night. She moved the moon in a chariot pulled by stags, and she was also a huntress and a protector of animals and young children. Now, the ancient Greeks told many stories featuring their gods and goddesses. Now, many Greek myths feature scary monsters, and they tell the tales of heroic quests. The stories helped the ancient Greek people make sense of the world and explained how things have come to be. Now, the stories were passed on orally, as people did not read or write at the time, and over time these stories became more exciting and scary. The characters became more heroic, and they became the legends that we know today. Okay, remember, at this time, the ancient Greeks used their gods and goddesses to help them understand the world. If they weren't sure how something was happening or why it was happening, they would often use one of the gods or goddesses as the reason for, whether they'd be very, very happy, so they were being blessed with these things, or whether something was going terribly wrong, and therefore they had upset one of the gods. Now, as mentioned at the start of this video, you need to make your own project about these ancient Greeks. And again, we've looked at all these different areas already so far. You've now had the god and goddesses lesson, so you can now put some more information onto your presentation, however form that may take. And then we've got one more lesson next week about the Trojan War before your poster needs to be handed in on Monday the 27th of April. As always, Year 6, remember I'm here if you have any questions. Send me a message and I will phone you straight back. Okay, have a wonderful afternoon and I look forward to speaking to you soon. Goodbye, Year 6.